Good morning everybody and welcome to Mildenhall and Volmer, and today's subject is the frustrating tale of the Bachmann 66. Now today I wasn't actually planning on putting up a video or anything like that, but because it was so frustrating and so bad this morning, I just thought, you know what, I'm going to have to just put this video up and let you guys know what happened, because if you own a Bachmann 66, this could just as easily happen to you. And there's also a few other Bachmanns, 37, probably I think the 47 the same, because it's the way in which they're built. So let's start with the sort of backstory, if you like. Let me just show you the actual 66 in question, first of all. So directly in front of you is said 66 in question, 66779 GBRF. Now this 66, I've had it for some time, and it was the pride of the fleet, and it was kind of a bit like my 68 really. It was supposed to be the pride of the fleet and I had issues with that, so it seems to be something about me having my prestige locos that I sort of hold quite dear that seem to have issues. So the backstory goes is that I bought this, and this particular 66, because it was my prestigious 66, had the all singing, all dancing DCC coastal sound chip put in her, and I should say that is the distinction that she has. It's that it's the only 66 in my fleet with a DCC coastal chip in it, and this was before Hornby brought out the 66 TTS sound chip, which all my other 66s have, including the Freightliner directly behind it. But the thing is, I was never really happy with the sound that came out of the speaker out of this 66. It was always bugging me. And many of you will know that recently, yesterday or the day before, I put up a video on my Bachmann 37s, which I put I put an iPhone speaker in each of them. And I did say that I had a third speaker, which I was debating what I was going to do with it. And one of the debates was to put it into this one, 66779. And the reason for this is that I really never liked the sound coming out of the speaker because it was muffled. And what I'll do is I will stop here and I'll just put in a brief clip of what it was like on the startup and shutdown of it, so you can see the difference. So this is my 66 Evening Star, and I love this Evening Star. Unfortunately, it's got a really expensive sound chip in it, but it doesn't sound great. So I'm going to swap the speaker out. So let's see if we can give you a listen. You can hear it, it sounds really, really fuzzy. It sounds kind of muffled. And it's just, so I'm hoping that putting the other speaker in it, the last iPhone speaker in it, will clarify it. And if I shut it down, you can hear it as well. You just hear it, it just sounds so fuzzy and muffled. And this has got an expensive chip in it, and my TTS 66s sound much better. So I'm hoping that by putting the iPhone speaker, it will just make it so much more clearer and sound so much better. Okay, so now you've heard that, you can probably understand why I wanted to put a different speaker into it. Obviously, because it made such a huge difference on my 37s and how they sound. I felt that this would certainly benefit from it. So this 66 decided that it'd have a little surprise installed for me. Unbeknownst to me, I got it out of the box last night, ready to be putting the speaker alteration this morning. And I thought nothing of it, absolutely nothing of it. And it was just sat on the layout overnight, ready for me to do in the morning. And I expected it to be like all my other 66s to put a chip in, as well as the 37 that I did live on camera, that I did on camera yesterday. And it decided that it was going to throw up a rather nasty surprise. It took me 2 hours to get the body off, and I have to say it was extremely excruciating. What had happened is one of the screws was cross-threaded. I don't know how. I have no idea. That the head was damaged. I don't know how. Because I'm usually quite careful about tightening screws onto bodies, because I don't want to damage and cross-thread the screws, because I know for that very reason. But for love nor money, I could not get this screw out. And the rest of the body wanted to come away, the clips had come away, but you just couldn't lift it off because it was attached by this one screw. The long and the short of it is basically I had to take the drill to it, because none of my screwdrivers would work. It was just constantly stuck there, and I had to drill out the head to get the body off. And that took me 2 hours of really slow, careful precision, and obviously holding the locomotive in such a way that I wasn't going to damage the bogie, because the bogie is so tightly close to the hole that obviously I didn't want to start damaging the bogie with the drill. Also, I didn't want to drill a hole through the body itself. I didn't want to hold it by the glazing and push the glazing in and damage the glazing. And I didn't want to damage the steps by the way I was holding it. Thankfully, after 2 hours of this, the body eventually popped. When the body came off, you could see where the screw was still attached to the body. And obviously I just took the long nose pliers and got rid of the screw that was in it. I guess the moral of the story is all is not lost if this should happen to you. You can still get the body off just as long as you're careful with it. I just thought I'd share you this tale of my woes with this Class 66. However, the great news is that she sounds absolutely superb now. One of the options was to basically stop drilling and just leave it and just come back to it tomorrow, or just leave it altogether. But I knew at some point I'd want to take the body off, either through maintenance, or in this case, as I said, I wanted to change the speaker in it. So it was always something that was bugging me, and I just couldn't let it rest. But once the speaker was in there and soldered in, she sounds absolutely fantastic, absolutely awesome. So we're going to do a few tests of it just to show you what was in it. That was the original speaker that was in it. And like I said, from the original clip, and I'll play it again, you could hear, especially on startup and shutdown, just how fuzzy the sound was. It really didn't sound right. can hear it, it sounds really, really fuzzy. It sounds kind of muffled. And it's just, so I'm hoping that putting the other speaker in it, the last iPhone speaker in it, will clarify it. And if I shut it down, you can hear it as well. You just hear it, it just sounds so fuzzy and muffled. And this has got an expensive chip in it, and my TTS 66s sound much better. So I'm hoping that by putting the iPhone speaker, it will just make it so much more clearer and sound so much better. So as you can see in front of you, you've got P&O Ned Lloyd Atlas 66532 on the left, which is the Freightliner, and the GBRF 779 Evening Star on the right. Now, since I've got both of these here, I just thought I'd share with you quickly the differences between the two. With the Hornby TTS 66, there's a lot. It's all manual. A lot of the functions are just manually done, which means that even on startup, you've got the primer, and you have to press that separate to the actual start on the Hornby chip. And there's lots of other things like that, which is all just manually done. But what you get on the more expensive chip, which is the one that's on the GBRF, is the automation that you get with it. And I'll give you an example. Now I'm going to fire it up, and you'll hear the primer before the startup, and that's just all done through one button. That's just the automation. Whereas on the Hornby, you have to press F15 for the primer and then F1 to start it up. But hopefully you'll hear it, just how much better it is from the first clip that I showed you. That's automatic, and you can't drive the 66 until the air's built up, which is what it's doing. And again, that's automatic. You don't get that with Hornby. I'm not sure if you even get that sound. You might get it, but you might have to do it manually. I'm just waiting to see if you hear it pop, because it also does all these other bits and pieces, which it does automatically as well. There you go. That kind of noise, that's all automatic, it's all part of the chip. If I do just the two-tune, that's a lot more clearer than what it was before. So I'm really pleased now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut it down, because like I did with the other one, just so you can hear the difference. It was so muffled on the last one. It takes forever to shut down, but it sounds so much clearer on the shutting down. That was one of the things that really bugged me about having that old speaker, is the way it started up and it shut down, because it sounded so muffled. So let's start her up again. Now don't get me wrong, I love the TTS sound chips on the 66 because I've got loads of them. All the others, that's TTS. All these additional sounds you're hearing has got nothing to do with me touching the controller. This is just the chip automatically doing this. And I can't drive it until it's settled down. Right, so I should be able to drive it off now. So she's just coming back round, and I'm just going to slow her up and stop her, and then I'm not going to touch the controller, and I'm going to let her do her thing. And it is a fantastic chip in the 66, I have to say. And like I said, it's by DCC Coastal, Kevin at DCC Coastal, and it's absolutely fantastic chip. It's so much more better now I've put an iPhone speaker in it. It just sounds so much better and clearer, and I'm more happier to use it than I was before. The sound on it before just wasn't really good enough for me, and it's one of those things. I paid, I think it's about £93 for the chip at the time, and the 66 next to it, it's got a TTS chip in it, which was 44 quid all in with the adapter, and that was actually sounding better than the GBRF. But now I've put the better speaker in it, it's a lot better. So after my tale of woe and frustration morning with my Bachmann 66 Even Star, we've got there in the end, and I'm quite pleased with myself actually, because I could have so easily have left it and just put it to one side, not deal with it. And luckily, you know, I persisted with it carefully, and I've managed to sort out a problem which would have been bugging me for a long time. So if you do have these issues, just be careful, A, when you put bodies back on to begin with, that you don't over tighten them, so you don't have this issue. But like I said, sometimes it's just beyond your control. I really don't know how that screw got damaged. But B, there is a way forward. You can still get the screw out, even if you can't take it out with a screwdriver. You just got to go carefully and just try not to damage the locomotive. So I will leave you with some shots of my GBRF 66 Evening Star on the move. So bye for now. All of these sounds are all extra. It's all automated, it's brilliant. That's what I love about it. So, till the next time, it's bye from Milden Hall and Volmer.